DreAllDay.com.
Let me congratulate you on an excellent decision for tuning into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you have expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. This is the go-getter energy that moves you to make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Putting all this together, you get the mindset, the method, the podcast known as Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the show. Today's topic is when to be direct in life. When to get straight to the point, when to stop beating around the bush, when to stop alluding to what you actually want or what you're actually going to do, or, just not being kind of roundabout with the point that you're trying to make, but when to stop doing all that and just get straight to it. Go straight to the source, the quickest route from point A to point B being a straight line. So when is it beneficial? When would it be smart? When would I recommend that you take the straight line approach rather than the roundabout, indirect approach in life? Let's get a definition of this word direct. It means extending or moving from one place to another by the shortest way without changing direction or stopping. Let me say that one again, I like that. Extending or moving from one place to another by the shortest way without changing direction or without stopping. When does it make sense to not change direction, not stop, not slow down, not stop to think about it, not pause to consider the ramifications? When does it make sense to just be direct? And using the word direct as an adjective, it also means the most direct route. And this is not the best definition, using the word in the definition. But anyway, when to be direct in life, no beating around the bush. I'm not going to give too much explanation on this. Let's just get right into the points. Let's be direct about it and get right into the points. Point number one, today's topic again, when to be direct in life. When people are expecting to be led. If you are a leader, or you plan to be one, or you have decided to assume a leadership position in whatever it is you're doing, and people are expecting you to lead, then you need to be direct. You need to be clear. Everyone needs to know where you stand, what you're saying, exactly what you mean, exactly what you're feeling, and exactly what you want. You need to be clear when you are leading. You can't be vague as a leader. Okay, you can't give people no tricky parables to figure out most of the time as a leader. Maybe there are sometimes you can do it, but when you're in the heat of the moment and things need to actually get done, people want to be led, you got to lead and be direct. When you're in a sales situation, and as a salesperson, and you have a prospect sitting in front of you, they're expecting you to lead. You're the one who has the information. You're the one who's the expert. Lead them to where you want to take them. When you're a manager and you have people who are your subordinates, they're under your management, lead them and tell them what you want done. When you're in a leadership position, people have chosen to follow you, chosen to follow your lead, then you need to tell them and show them exactly where we're going, exactly what you want them to do, and exactly how you want it done. In any type of relationship, if you're going to be in a leadership position, lead the situation. There was a game back in I don't even know when this particular game happened, but Isaiah Thomas told this story. Now, Isaiah Thomas is a NBA Hall of Fame basketball player, not the current Isaiah Thomas, who's from Seattle, the short guy who was playing for the Celtics and, as of this recording, playing for the Denver Nuggets. I'm talking Detroit Pistons Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer, two-time NBA champion Isaiah Thomas is who I'm talking about here. And he had a coach when he played for the Detroit Pistons by the name of Chuck Daly. Now, Chuck Daly is a Hall of Fame coach as well. I believe he passed away a few years ago. He was actually the coach of the 1992 Team USA Dream Team, a team that Isaiah was conspicuously left off of for reasons that we're not going to get into here in today's episode. But Isaiah Thomas once told this story, that it was late in the game, late in the NBA game, the Detroit Pistons are in their timeout huddle. Isaiah Thomas is sitting as one of the five players who's currently on the court, and Chuck Daly is drawing up a play. It's late in the game, and Chuck Daly's trying to draw up some plays and give his team some instructions before they go back out onto the court. And this is an important game, a pivotal game, and Chuck Daly's looking around at his players, and he looks at Isaiah Thomas, his point guard, his best player. Isaiah Thomas is the best player on the team. And he looks at Isaiah and he says, "Isaiah, what are you best at?" That's what he asked his player right in the middle of the game, in the heat of the moment, late in the game. And Isaiah Thomas said, "I'm best at leading." And Chuck Daly said, "Then lead." And this is the point that I'm making here today. When people are expecting to be led, when people need to be led, if you just decide, if you look at a situation and you size up the situation and realize, you know what, these people need some leadership. These people need to be told what to do. These people need someone to step up and take control of this situation and let them know this is exactly how it's going to go. This is exactly what we're going to do. When you see the situation is fit for that, then you need to step up and be direct. If people sign up to follow you in any way, they are expecting you to provide leadership, which entails being clear about what's happening, when, where, why, and how. Tell them. Leadership, ladies and gentlemen, is not a group activity. There can be many people in a group who have authority, but someone has to take the lead in a group, even if everyone is quote unquote equal. In a business, for example, when everybody's an owner. I told the story back in April of 2019 on this very podcast of how when Team USA, a later Team USA, 2018, was in the gold medal match in the fourth quarter playing against Spain in 2008 in Beijing. The game was close. Team USA, not everyone even expected Team USA to be in any close games. This is a close game, a game that they very well could have lost. And they were coming out of a late fourth quarter huddle. They had all the best players in the world on the court. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Darren Williams, Kobe Bryant. Not all of them on the court at once, but they were all on the roster. All these guys are all-stars. All these guys are superstars. All these guys are the man on their respective teams in the NBA. At this time, though, they're all on the same team. Who was going to step up? Who was going to lead? This team needed leadership. Somebody needed to step up and make a big play because Spain was starting to gain momentum. Kobe Bryant was the person who sized up that situation. It's not like LeBron raised his hand and said, hey, Kobe, would you lead us? No, nobody did that. Kobe sized up the situation and decided independently on his own, we need some leadership right now. So you know what? I'm going to lead. He didn't have to say anything. He led by what he did. Sometimes you lead by action. Sometimes you lead by verbally. Sometimes you do a combination of both. But somebody has to take the lead in a group, even if everybody is, quote unquote, supposedly equal. In a business, again, for example, there's a business where there are three of you who all have an equal ownership stake in the business. Technically, nobody has authority over anyone else, but somebody has to take the lead. When the three of you are having a meeting or there's a crisis situation and you got to decide what to do, somebody has to take the lead. The whole thing, everything can't happen by committee, ladies and gentlemen. At some point, somewhere along the line, somebody has to step up and say, you know what, I'm taking leadership of this situation. Even though you don't have, quote unquote, authority over another person, if you take leadership, most of the time, nobody's going to take it back from you. They will allow you to lead and they'll follow you if you sound like you know what the hell you're doing. You don't even have to be right. If you sound like you know what you're doing, people will at least follow you to find out if you're right or wrong. Point number 2. Today's topic is when to be direct in life, in your communication and in your actions. Another time to be direct is when you know exactly what you want, which is hopefully more often than not. I know there are times in life we don't know exactly what we want, or maybe we know what we want, but we don't know exactly how we're going to go about it or what the best method is or how we should actually make this work. When you know exactly what you want, which hopefully, again, more often than not, if you have a list of goals written down, if you have sub-goals, meaning you may have goals for your life, have goals for the next 5 years, for the next year, for the next month, the next week, and for today, when you have goals laid out, you don't need to allude to the things that you want. Don't hope that other people read between the lines if they've shown inability to do so. Because there are some people out there who can read between the lines. You can allude to something and they kind of get it. But there are other times that people don't quite get it. You ever tried to allude to something and people just didn't quite get what you were saying? And finally you got exasperated and you just laid it out directly and plainly for them so they could get it. All right, sometimes you just need to do that from the beginning. All right, instead of hoping that they'll figure out what you're trying to say, just say what you want to say. And don't get mad at people for not being able to read your mind. Maybe they're just not as clever as you. Maybe they don't have the vocabulary that you have. Maybe they don't understand the lingo that you're using. It's not their responsibility to figure out what you're alluding to. If you're just alluding to it and they haven't gotten it yet, it's your job to be clear so that they understand exactly what you want. Because again, you know exactly what you want. When you know exactly what you want, it's your job to be clear about it. And if you're not clear and then you end up not getting it, don't blame anybody else for not figuring it out. It's your job to figure out in the first place, you know what, let me be clear with this one so that there's no confusion, so nobody messes this one up. I think all of us have made this mistake at times, thinking that someone else understood what we wanted. Then we realize only too late that they didn't quite understand what we wanted. We didn't get what we wanted. And we're like, you know what, I should have just been more direct from the beginning. But sometimes we don't want to be so direct from the beginning because we think we may offend people. Maybe we think someone will think we're coming on a little bit too strong. Maybe we think we're, just bum rushing people or being a little bit too aggressive. Listen, When you are being direct, when you are being clear, when you are being in what maybe you deem or someone else may deem aggressive, here's one thing you can be sure of. Everybody's going to know exactly where you stand and exactly what you want. No one can claim ignorance of not understanding where you're coming from and what you're wanting when you're being direct. Now, if you're kind of alluding to it, you're kind of beating around the bush and nobody gets it, well, you will have only yourself to blame at that point. When people are shown the inability to read between the lines of what you're saying and you can no longer be clever, okay, stop being clever. All right, stop hoping that they figure it out and just get to the point. When you want something and you're not clear about it and subsequently don't get it, you're the only person who can be blamed for that. All right, nobody else is supposed to figure that out. Remember, no one else is sharing your brain. All right, it's just you in your head. Everybody else is in their own heads. Everybody's focused on their own agendas, on their own priorities, on their own lives. Don't expect them to be thinking about yours more than you're thinking about yours. Point number 3. Today's topic is when to be direct in life. Third instance, case when you need to be direct in life is when you are acting with urgency and you need things done now, as of immediately, as in today. Definition of direct, again, is moving from one place to another without changing direction or stopping. The quickest path from point A to point B, as I said in the introduction, is a straight line. We have all experienced a state of urgency in our lives. We've all experienced having that sense of urgency when we were direct about things because we didn't have time to play around. We didn't have time to hope you figured it out. We were being direct and we got things done with no apology whatsoever. Have we all done that? Yes or yes? Of course we have. And if you liked that feeling, if you like that feeling of accomplishment, getting things done, what took you 5 weeks and nothing was getting done, then in 5 minutes you got everything done because you decided to be direct, because you had that sense of urgency for whatever reason. If you like that feeling, then being direct is a clue into doing that again. If you want to get that, if you want to get things done, if you want to get accomplishments accomplished, then sometimes you just need to just go straight to being direct from the beginning. And yeah, some people may be put off by it. Some people may be a little bit taken aback. Some people may be, offended. Some people may think you're being very aggressive and back up a little bit. Maybe somebody won't want to deal with you because they feel like you're just coming on a little bit too strong and they're not used to it. Well, they'll either get used to it or they'll get out of the way. But either way, you're going to get what you want. And this is just the mindset that I would suggest you take on if you really need to be direct, especially when you have a sense of urgency about what needs to get done. See, you don't have time for niceties. You don't have time for, I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings. You don't have time for, let me make sure nobody is bothered by this. You don't have time for any of that when you have a sense of urgency. Now, when you're at your leisure and things can get done just whenever, you end up wherever and getting whatever. If that's the state of mind that you're in, then you don't need to be direct. You don't really need the content of today's episode when you're in that state of leisure. But I think all of us understand that we're all on the clock here in life, and I don't think any of us has achieved every single thing that we want to achieve in life yet. And the thing is, we don't know how much time is left on that clock, so none of us is really at our leisure at any time if we really think about it. If we really boil it down to the bottom line point of all of our lives, none of us know how much time we have left. And all of us have things left that we want to do and achieve in ways that we want to live. Therefore, none of us should be looking at our goals and saying, well, I got time to get to that, because we actually don't. So there's a time to be direct, and I'm giving you 3 such instances here that you can apply to many situations in your life. Let's recap. When to be direct in life is the topic. Number 1, when people are expecting to be led, and or when you have sensed that people need to be led. So if people are expecting it, they may tell you, or they may be looking at you like, all right, when you're going to lead. But it also may be a situation where nobody's looking at you, nobody's thinking about you, but things are going on and you look at the situation and decide, you know what, we need some leadership in this situation. And you just decide, I'm going to step up and lead. People will follow you when you step up and take the reins, because if somebody else wanted to take the reins, they would have already took them. Point number 2, well, you know exactly what you want, which is hopefully more often than not, you know what you want. When you know what you want, please don't expect other people to read your mind. Don't allude to it. Don't beat around the bush with it. Don't hope that other people can read your mind, because if they've shown the inability to do so, you can't get mad at them for not being able to read your mind. Listen, the only person who reads your mind perfectly is you, and maybe not even you. If it's you that wants something and you're not clear about it and you subsequently don't get it, you only have yourself to blame because you weren't being clear about what you wanted. Point number 3. When you're acting with a sense of urgency and you need things done now, because the definition of direct is moving from one place to another without changing direction and without stopping, because we all know the quickest path from point A to point B is a straight line. Not a roundabout, but a straight line. We have all experienced being in a state of urgency. We were direct and got things done with no apology, no hesitation, no wasted motion, and no wasted movement. If you like that feeling and you like the accomplishments that came with it, being direct is a clue to doing so again. And in the game group, personal development section, I show you how to get your mind in this state anytime that you want. Keep it there if you want to keep it there, and get more things done in your life. Because I know a lot of us got a lot of things we want to get done, but not enough time to get them all done. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Nobody out there needs more information. What you need these days is a strategy, frameworks, processes, how to actually take all the information that's out there, all the knowledge and content that's out there, make sense of it, and actually produce a result, a tangible result. That's why I created the game group. It is my membership site where you will get tangible results for specific areas: business, personal development, basketball skill, and professional basketball. Choose your area of focus, and we have targeted, specified outcomes every single month, along with live trainings, the ability to contact me, have your work critiqued by me, and a whole lot of other stuff. The link and all the information is down in the description at DreAllDay.com/membership. Get in the game group if you're ready to get some results and not just a whole bunch of information. Let's do it. Work on your game.